Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Give everybody a few minutes to tap in before we get started. Yeah. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the P-Ave Perspective. I'm your host, Mr. O'Neill. And as always, I thank everybody for tuning in this week and spending some time with me while I run my mouth. Whether you're watching the live stream tonight or whether you're watching the replay of the video that I post on YouTube, I appreciate you tuning in. And tonight's episode is called Healing the Hood. And I spoke on it last week, but I attended a funeral this week and this weekend. And last weekend. And for Miss Lillian Walker, aka Grandma. And like I said last week, she's the OG of the hood. You know, when I first moved on P-Ave, and she's a P-Ave veteran. But when I first moved on P-Ave, I stayed next door. My family stayed next door to her, and she was the neighborhood grandmother. And through everything, she was there for everybody. And we came together with her family this week and laid her to rest. And it was a real sad occasion, but I think grandmother lived like 96, 97 years. So that was a blessing. That was a full, you know, prosperous life, a fulfilled life. So while we were sad, you can't be, upset about a person who lived that long of a life. But, you get in your feelings, and I started reminiscing because as usual with us as Black people, a lot of us, we only come together at family reunions or funerals. And while it's sad, it's usually true. But like I said, I got the feeling, reminiscent, feeling some kind of way. And I really got down to just seeing my people and getting a chance to catch up with people and chop it up with people and realizing that the hood needs so much healing. The hood needs so much healing. The people need so much healing. And this is, matter of fact, this is episode 80. This is episode 80 of the P-Ave Perspective, entitled Healing Our Hood. So shout out for reaching out, 80th episode. Make me feel old, but like we rocking, and we're gonna keep rocking. But when we speak on healing the hood, it's way deeper than you would imagine, because the hurt, the trauma, the pain is so deep. It runs so deep. But tonight we're going to talk about the current conditions in our communities. We're going to talk about why so many neighborhoods are hurting, how we got to that point, and most importantly, as always, we have to talk about what it's going to take to heal. What it's going to take to heal, man. We have to heal the hood. But first, let me say, as always, I speak the truth as I see it, as I see it in the community, as I see it in the people. But I never speak to hurt anyone. I never speak to blame anyone. This isn't about making excuses. But as always with me, it's about accountability. And we are the hood. We are the hood. So it's about accountability. It's about responsibility, healing, rebuilding, and restoring our people. Restoring our people. And like always, I try to keep it real and talk about, the real deal. Keep it a solid. Hey, Unc, what's going on? Hey, DU, I see you, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Mr. Fuller, bro, I see you, baby. Appreciate y'all boy tuning in, man, and rocking with me. But if you really care about the future of our community, share this live stream right now. Share it, man. Somebody need to hear it. Somebody need to tap in, and somebody may need to hear this message. But too many of our neighborhoods are suffering, especially right now. And I love my hood. I love the hood, period, because to me, the hood represents Black unity. The hood represents strength and power. You know what I'm saying? I'm old enough to remember when the hood, was the livest, safest, most fun place to be, because that was during the time when everybody looked out for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never really had it, but together we made sure we didn't do without. And that's my fondest memory of the hood. And it's just not like that no more. It's not like that no more. So these days we see violence, we see broken homes, we see drug addiction, depression, hopelessness, just a bunch of negativity. We see poverty, crime, jealousy, envy, hatred, division, ignorance, and lack of discipline. So many negative things, lack of leadership, no accountability. And what's dangerous is some of us have become so used to it and so used to the dysfunction that we see the dysfunction as normal. We see all of this negativity and stuff as normal. And like I say, I still remember, when that wasn't what it was all about. It was about love and unity. But let me say this clearly and make this understood. I stand on this. The hood was never supposed to be the permanent condition. None of this was supposed to be the permanent condition. Yes, everybody goes through stuff. Yes, we went through trying times in the hood. I was there for when the crack and the drug addiction and stuff first got started. But everybody was in the hood. It was all about coming up. It was all about doing better. It was all about striving to be better. And all of that negativity, it was supposed to be a temporary struggle. It was supposed to be temporary, not our permanent identity. Man. It wasn't meant to be permanent. It just wasn't. So somewhere along the way, we developed that survival mentality and we stopped thriving, man. We stopped thriving. Like they said back in the day, they used to say, fake it till we make it. And the whole goal was to make it. But nowadays, it seems like we just cool with faking it. Ain't nobody really trying to make it. And that's no good. That's no good at all. But just like I said, true enough, it's so many factors that led us to this point. There's so many factors that we had to deal with to get us to this point. Things like generational trauma, whether it was from slavery, whether it was from the system, whether it was from the drugs and what they did when they were pushed into the neighborhood, whatever it was, we have developed generations of trauma and unresolved trauma. Like so many of us grew up seeing violence, experiencing abuse in some form, sometimes in many forms. Like watching addiction, watching the drug addiction, like watching our parents, you know what I'm saying? And even if it's not our parents, our friends' parents, our, family members, losing loved ones to the streets, to the gangs, to the drug dealing, to the prisons, like so much, like growing up with our fathers, and really just getting to the point where we were living in survival mode. We developed the survival mode in order to cope, in order to deal with, what we were going through. And like we learned, man, like it's not cool, but it's truth. The fact that hurt people. And going through that much stuff, like I said, it led to us being hurt and hurt people hurting people. And that's got us to the point where we are now, where a lot of us really don't care. But we deal with broken family structure. And that's one of the biggest issues affecting our community is the destruction of the family structure, man. Shout out to my boy DU too, man. Bro, I seen you get married. You know what I'm saying? I seen you come up out of there, man, and getting back on your issue, man. And I salute that, man. For real, I salute that. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. My boy Lil Peter, I see you, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Like, man, we came from that. Y'all know that. We came from that. And we saw the worst of it. But as we seeing now as men, it wasn't meant to be forever, man. It don't have to be like that. But, you know, we watched when fathers disappear, and let's keep it real. We carry a lot of the weight as the kings in the community. We got to the point where we wasn't acting like kings, man. We got distracted. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why. Like I said, doing without, not having the guidance, not having the structure, it led us to taking penitentiary chances, making choices and decisions that put our life in danger, put our freedom in jeopardy. You know, and like I said, that was a part of life, man. Like I said, I like it helped us get through. We still here. So I can't, you know, totally knock it. But a lot of us didn't make it, man. And our dysfunction as men and our, you know, lack of guidance and our lack of knowledge, it led to us, man, being away from our kids. Like I say, when fathers disappear, man, the discipline disappears, the protection disappears, the guidance disappears, the stability. We lose the stability. And then we leave the mothers, they to the point where they forced to carry the load by themselves. And we know what that leads to. You know, when no father is there and the mother is forced to work and grind and make it happen by herself and raise the kids and figure everything out on her own, it leads to the entire household suffering, man, under that pressure. And that's why we say we don't understand why these youngsters like that. Like, we really know when you really take the time to look at it, it was dysfunction. And it started at the head, man, with the family, with the parents, with the moms and with the dads, man. And again, normalizing dysfunction. We got to the point where we just like, we feel like it's normal. We feel like it's normal to be beefing. You know, we feel like it's normal to be, you know, into it with people, or, you know, at odds with our kid's mother, or, you know, all this dysfunctional stuff, man. Somewhere along the way, the toxic behavior, man, the toxic, everything became like entertainment, man. Like right now, look at it. We entertainment by toxic stuff, man. Like, I see it all up and down my timeline every day. And then, like I said, in doing this podcast, I had to make it up in my mind that I wasn't going to go that route. I wasn't going to get on here gossiping, celebrity gossiping, or putting nobody down, you know, kicking nobody while they down, or talking about stuff that basically gossip, hearsay, and what's going on with celebrities, man. When we got real issues going on in the hood, we got real issues going on in our lives, in our family, in the lives of our families, our kids. So that's why I made the decision, man, to speak on the stuff that I'll be speaking on. I can't add to the ignorance, man. But nowadays, ignorance is celebrated. Nowadays, you know, people get on the internet and act ignorant. We promote that. We push that. We make them celebrities. You know, criminal behavior became respected. You know, think about this. Like, y'all know, Lil Peter and people that's in, y'all know, when we got in the game, we really didn't have choices back then. A lot of us didn't have no choices just by how life worked out. A lot of us, you know, lost that family structure early. We lost that family support early. So getting into the life, getting into the criminal behavior, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was the only means for us to eat and take care of ourselves, a lot of us. But nowadays, you know, it's so many more opportunities for these youngsters, man. But then they doing it just because we glorified it, and they see how we did it. They see how we balled out and how we had money and how we had cars and everything. So they're not even trying to get out. We was doing it as a means to come up. But we were always had it in our mind that we trying to get up, man, and get out of our situation. But these youngsters, man, they really feeling like, hey, man, like they gonna do it till they end up in prison, or they gonna do it till they die. And that's just not what up, man. But the criminal behavior had become so respected. It's just like, it's normal. That's just what you're supposed to do. You supposed to hustle. Like, nah, that was never the plan. That was never the plan. But accountability, we started to look at that like people are judging us, you know, and that's how they look at it now. When you try to hold people accountable and say, hey, man, like, you're accountable for your actions. You're accountable for your choices. Like, people feel like you judging or you hating, and that's just not what it is, man. It's reality. But just like now, me being G trying to spit some wisdom, they say that's old school. They ain't trying to hear it. They all the times ain't like that. Old school don't know what he's talking about. Oh man, old school came through it at its worst, and old school made it through it. You know, at its worst, I'm still here, healthy mind, healthy body. So it's my duty as an OG. It's my duty as a big homie, man, to try to lace the little homies up, put the little homies on game. Like, the big homies put us on hustling because, like, if not, a lot of us would have starved. A lot of us wouldn't have made it. So in that time, in that era, they put us on real game on how to get money, you know what I'm saying, survive, you know, and make it happen. But nowadays, it's different. So the real big homies, the game done changed. We're not putting you on, you know, doing nothing illegal or, you know, out there, you know what I'm saying, on no madness, beefing, strife, or none of that. Like, I'm trying to put you on some real game to help you level up, man, and get out of that environment, get out of that lifestyle, get out of that mindset. So, but like I said, it's looked at as, oh, you don't know what he talking about. You know, it ain't the same no more. But we got to the point where nowadays we glorifying the same shit that's destroying us, man. The same shit that's keeping us stuck in the hood, stuck in that mentality. It's glorified in the music. It's glorified on social media. And that's just not what's up, man. In real life, it's just not what's up. But a lack of accountability, you know, come on, man. Like, even today, with all these opportunities, with all these black millionaires, black billionaires, black successful people, you still got people that don't want to take accountability for their actions or their situations. You still got people blaming the white people. You still got people blaming the government. You still got people blaming racism, the system, you know, poverty. You know, I grew up in poverty. I grew up, I ain't had it. We ain't had it. And let's keep it real. Some of those things absolutely play a role in the situation we're in right now. But we can never hope to heal. We can never hope to step our game up until we start looking in the mirror, man, and looking at the role we play in the situation. Because some of our suffering, a lot of our suffering now is self-inflicted. Man. It's the mindset. And the mindset dictate the actions. So really, man, like, talk to me. Like, what do y'all believe is the biggest issue hurting the hood? Talk to me. Let me know something right now. What do y'all believe is the biggest issue that's hurting the hood right now? Also, you know, what happened to accountability? Because I know when I came up, like, I came up around people that held me accountable. Whether it was snitching, whether it was, running off on the plug, whether it was, taking from your own people, not putting women and kids in our street beef, you know what I'm saying? Not looking out, for the people in the hood, whatever it was. Like, I was held accountable, man. I was taught from the rip how to be accountable, and that I was accountable for my actions, good or bad. But what happened to accountability, man? Like, what do we need to heal as a community? Talk to me, because like I said, I know y'all boys have been through it. We done been through it. And like, we are the people to help, man. They don't know it, but we are the people to help, man, because we went through it and we made it out. So you look at a lot of these teachers, you look at a lot of these people who call themselves mentors or say they speak for blacks and everything like that. Like, they can't speak for us better than we can speak for us. They can't speak for these youngsters out here who going through, you know what I'm saying, what they going through, because a lot of them haven't been through it. But man, we went through it and we were blessed to make it out. So I feel like we are better spokespeople, you know what I'm saying, for change than anybody else, man, that these youngsters can, you know, talk to or listen to. But who failed our young people, man, if not us? Let me know, man. If y'all got any ideas, like, let me know. Who failed our young people? And can the hood really heal? Can we really heal the hood? I think we can. I know we can. But I know too that we didn't get like this overnight. No, we went through hell to get to this point, and it's going to take time and effort to get us out of this, man, and get us through this. But I know we can. But like I say, man, drop the comments in the chat, man. Drop your thoughts in the comments, man. I want real conversation. Now, as always, I want to hear from y'all, man, because we the people. We the people, man. But we have to get past the drama and the bull, man. And I just want to go over a couple of things that I feel and I know are keeping us broken, man, and keeping us, you know, in the situations that we in. And number one is, like I spoke about earlier, the victim mentality. We can't heal if we constantly see ourselves as powerless, man. Like, look, we've always had the power. We took the power. Y'all know that. In our time, you had to be powerful, or weakness, you know what I'm saying, wasn't respected. Weakness was ran over. So we can't play the victim mentality because we never have. We've always been the one that were on point, front line, handling business and making it happen. So we can't play the victim. You know, we know oppression exists. We know who pushed the work in the hood. We know after they pushed the work in the hood, they locked us up for it. We know that. We know racism still exists. You know, we know the economic barriers or the economic roadblocks, financial roadblocks that keep us, you know what I'm saying, in our position. But we still have to take ownership. If nothing more, we have to take ownership of our choices, our behavior, our households as men. Y'all know that now as men, we responsible for our households. We responsible for our mindset. We responsible for our actions. And it's like nobody has control over that but us. And that's the stuff that we can control. So that's really all we can focus on. You know, I spoke on the post earlier today, like that's one of the things I learned as a man, to focus on the things that I control and not worry about the stuff that I can't. But all of those things we can control, man. But number two, the destruction of self-respect. The destruction of self-respect. Too many people these days have lost respect for themselves. We lost respect for our elders. We don't look out for our elders or respect our elders like we used to. We lost respect for education. You know, and I know, just like I said, I know before stuff went bad in the hood, man, our parents stressed education as a means of getting out, as a means of doing better than them, as a means of having, you know, the resources to do better than them. Education was stressed. That was pushed upon us. You know, that our parents pushed that to the end. But we lost respect for marriage. We lost respect for being parents. A lot of us, you know, the community standards, what the hood stand for, what the hood represent. We lost respect for all that. And you cannot heal people who no longer value themselves. We cannot heal that. That's what these youngsters are dealing with, man. They don't value themselves. They don't value, the OGs. And I understand that because a lot of these OGs are just as lame and misleading, as some of these youngsters. Not everybody not solid OGs. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these elders are disrespecting themselves. So it's hard to respect people who disrespect themselves. But like I've said, and like we know from a hood perspective, like respect is due anybody. And we stand on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, respect me. You're not gonna disrespect me. You're not gonna disrespect me. But let me see. Talk about the truth, brother. You need more exposure because you talk about real life situations that nobody pay attention to anymore these days. I'm proud of you. Catherine, you from where I'm from. You from where I'm from. You one of my, people. So what else would I talk about? And just like I knew when I started this, everybody don't want to hear this because everybody is so caught up in the negativity, and the wickedness, basically. But again, like, we cannot heal people who don't value themselves. If we don't value ourselves, how are we going to heal? We have to bring back the value in ourselves, man. Another issue that we deal with, this social media and influence. And again, that's why I chose to do this show on the topics that I do it on, because I could have been like so many other people and used this to do more harm. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't live with myself. Like I said, every video I put out, I think about what's going to happen when I'm gone. What happens when my kids see this video? What happens when my grandkids see this video? Do I want to be misleading them, or do I want to be putting them on game and giving them something that they can use? And that's why I chose to talk about these topics and not that celebrity gossip or none of the stuff that's keeping us down. But social media has served to amplify the negativity. We've always had it. We've always had it in the hood. We've always had clout chasing. We always had the people that were seeking attention. We always had the materialism and people, glorifying the trappings that came with hustling. We've had people pushing ignorance and glorifying the ignorance. We've had people who push the drama. We've always had it in the community, but social media, man, has amplified it. Where, like I said before, where we had a fight in the hood, you know what I'm saying? And now, you know what I'm saying? It was just about the people that were there and the people that, who you told about it later. But now you take a fight video and put it on the internet and it's 1 million people in there. It's 1 million people got comments. It's 1 million people got, and I know, for instance, you know what I'm saying? My guy in the chat, I remember this, you know what I'm saying? One of my guys in the chat, and if you still watching, I remember, what was it? The mannequin challenge. The mannequin challenge. And I remember it was popular. All these little challenges was popular, but I remember my guy, one of my guys in the chats, getting involved in the mannequin challenge. And when he jumped in the mannequin challenge, he put it out there. And as soon as I saw that video, I said, man, that's not a good look, because you putting people in your business. You putting people, and just like I said, the business wasn't legit. And as soon as I saw that video, I was like, man, that's not a good look, because that can come back to haunt you and that can influence people. That video could be a negative influence. But like I said, man, we've all played our role in it. We've all played our role in it, man. But we have to learn from it. And I know he learned from that. I know he did, because he's super smart dude. But it's like, we have to do better, man. We have to, know what I'm saying, put focus on the positive. Put focus on the stuff that is going to help us, man, come up out of this situation. And our young people are consuming all of this, man, all day long. All day long. You know what I'm saying? And just like I said, we put it out there, we put it on display, we put the money, we put the cars, we put the clothes, we put the trappings, and then can we really say we don't know why these youngsters are out here trying to do the same thing? We put it out there, man, and we made it seem so fly. We made it seem so clear. We made it seem like, for real, I know as a youngster, I watched the big homies do their thing, and I'm like, man, I can't wait till I get on. I can't wait till I come up. You know, I'm gonna do it big. And like we did it big, man, but we also negatively influenced, man, a lot of people, a lot of youngsters. So when these people nowadays, my people who come from where I'm from, when they say, oh, I don't see why these youngsters out of control, like shit, we was out of control too. Our older people didn't know what was going on with us. They didn't know what was going on with us. But another thing, man, that's playing a role in this, and I tell people all the time, I don't, you know what I'm saying, stress God, because I know how people feel, but God is real, man. And we are dealing with spiritual emptiness. So many of us are spiritually empty. So many of us, you know, weren't even introduced to God. So many of us missed that. I was blessed enough, you know what I'm saying, early on to have family that went to church, took me to church, and helped me build a relationship with God to the point where that's part of the reason why I'm still here now. That's part of the reason why I'm still here now. But a lot of these youngsters, they don't even have it. They haven't been introduced to it. So they spiritually empty. Like when people lose their morality and, you know, lose their morals, or they not taught morals. When people lose their purpose or haven't been, you know, pushed into thinking about purpose. A lot of these youngsters, a lot of these old people don't even know what purpose is. And I'm 53. A lot of people my age don't even know what purpose is because they were never introduced to it. A lot of people that came later, they don't have values. They weren't introduced to value. They will set up a set of values because a lot of times they had to do whatever they needed to do to survive. And I understand it, but we need values. A lot of people never learn faith because it was so bad sometimes. Like, I know it got so bad sometimes people question, like, why would God let us go through this? But like, they didn't have faith. No, they didn't have principles. They didn't have real OGs who gave them principles to live by. And then some of them, money took all of it away. They gave all the dollar. It got that bad. Some people gave all that up for the dollar. But when you do that and you lose all of that, chaos takes over. God, chaos takes over. But let me say something difficult, as always, man. I'm going to say it. But everybody wants healing. Everybody claims healing. Everybody speaks on healing. But many people don't want accountability. And that's the biggest part of healing. That's the biggest part of healing. Like, taking accountability. Getting out of the victim mindset. Yes, you've been done wrong. Yes, you've probably been abused. Yes, you probably didn't have, you know, the parental love and support, you know, that you needed. Yes, you probably didn't have the people to push you. Yes, you probably didn't have the people to give you the resources you need to figure out a different way, or the knowledge or the game you needed to figure out a different way. But accountability is saying, even though I didn't have it, it's my duty to get it. Even though nobody taught me, I still have the ability to learn, and it's my responsibility to learn. Even though I made bad choices and bad decisions, it's my ability to change my mindset and start making better choices and better decisions. That's the key to accountability. And true healing requires change. It requires you to change the way you think and thereby change the way you act, to change the way you move. It requires discipline. It requires the discipline to know, like, I'm not going to, know what I'm saying, put myself at risk. So I might not need the designer clothes. I might not need the fancy car. I might not need the fast cash. I'm going to slow down now, you know what I'm saying, and get me a gig and focus on this slow money. It requires sacrifice, sacrificing, you know, a lot of the stuff we want and really focusing on the needs so we can build up. It requires ownership of our mindset, ownership of our actions, ownership of when we make bad decisions, when we make bad choices. It requires us to be mature now and not move like kids. You know, to start thinking things through and making, you know, decisions or making moves based on being an adult and not based on, you know, what I want to do all the time. Like we learned, it's not about what we want to do all the time. Maturity is focusing on doing what's right, doing without, you know, responsibility for ourselves, responsibility for our kids, responsibility for our families, man. You cannot keep doing destructive things and expect that it's going to end up being healthy in making the community better. We cannot, you know, keep doing destructive stuff, man, and think that's going to better ourselves, better our families, or none of that. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We have to get it together, man. We have to get it together. We have to do it. Nobody going to do it for us. Nobody going to do it for us, man. So, like I said, I want to focus now on what we really need to start doing, man, to get right. Like I said, we talk about the problems all the time, but the main thing is the solutions. So we're going to talk about the solutions, man. The number one solution that we need to start doing immediately, if you ain't already, is rebuilding the family. That was our power. That was our strength. And I know everybody don't see eye to eye. I know, you know, we got family issues. Everybody has. We lost respect for a lot of family members. We lost respect for our parents. We've been disrespectful. Everybody has. But we must restore fatherhood, man. It's never too late to be a father, regardless of what people say, regardless of what your kids say. It's in how grown they think they are, whatever. It's never too late, man, to be in your kids' life. We have to start restoring marriage, man. Like, think about it. They telling us now that marriage is obsolete. They pushing everything but marriage. They pushing same-sex marriage just to keep us from, you know, getting married and building, man. But that is like, we always talk about team and we always talk about, you know, squad and we always talk about loyal people. Like, marriage, man, that is the most solid thing that you can get, man. The most solid team that you can build with the right person. So that should always be a goal, man, for us. If we really about building, if we really about elevating, our partner, man, is like our spouse. That could be the most powerful teammate, the most loyal teammate we ever have, man. If we build it and nurture it, we need to get back to parenting. Whether you with your child's father, whether you with your child's mother, that don't mean y'all can't be parents. That don't mean y'all can't figure out how to come together, man, and do what's best for the child. To work to help, you know, help the child, man. That's mandatory. We need to get back to structure. We know how it was. No matter what we did, it was successful because of structure. If you was hustling, it was rules to the game. It was do's and don'ts to the game. Regardless of what you did, anything that you did was successful, it was structure. So now we need to get back to real structure with life, man. Personal life, family life, our kids, everything. We need to get back to discipline in the home because we remember discipline. And just like I said, the discipline made us better because the discipline taught us right from wrong. Like, think about it. When we got out there in the streets and we made decisions, we knew what was wrong. Our parents made sure we knew. We knew what was wrong. We knew that stealing was wrong. We knew that doing certain stuff. When we got out there and started hustling and slanging, we knew it was wrong. We made choices, but we knew it was wrong. A lot of these kids, they don't even know it's wrong. Just like I said, it's been glorified so much, so they feel like that's the thing to do. They don't know it's wrong. So we need to get back to discipline in the home, man. Strong communities begin with strong families. Strong families begin with strong individuals. And just like I said, as men, it is our duty, man, to lace our women up. And I know it's women out there that, hey, you can't tell them nothing or whatever. That's cool. Don't worry about them. We can't worry about them that don't want to listen. We can't worry about them that feel like they men, or it's not a woman position, or this. We can't worry about them. You know what I'm saying? We worry about the ones who are focused. We got to get right. We got to get right, man. But just like I said, we have to lead by example. Because one thing we can't do, and I learned that myself, if I'm not on point, I can't be telling my wife, or I can't be telling my girlfriend about her not being on point, because it starts with us, man, as men. It starts with us as the head. And just like I said, if we not heading, why should they follow? Why should they listen? We have to get back as men, man, and start leading. But we need to protect and guide these youth, man. We need to protect and guide these children, man. They don't know the way. They don't know the way. We misled them, man. We did. I know the role I played. I know what I'm saying, the youngsters that watch me, count up money, you know what I'm saying, and chop up work, you know what I'm saying, and move with that pistol, always keeping that pistol on me, locked and loaded. Like, I understand that, like, I influence some youngsters, man. They watch me. They watch me, how I moved and how I shape. So I understand, man, like, I did my part to mislead them. And that's why I have to do my part, to show them the right way and tell them I did wrong. It sent me to prison. It got me years of heartache. And I don't want you to go through that. You don't have to. And just like I said, I try to, do it all the time, man. We need mentors. We need structure. We need leadership. We need to push them towards education. We need to educate them ourselves. That's why we have to be educated. That's one of the main reasons I went back to college and got my degree, got a trade, got my coaching certification, because I want to be in a position where I can educate them. I want to be in a position with my construction management degree that I can teach them skills to pay the bills, teach them legitimate skills that they can use to make more money on a legal job or a legal hustle than they can make in the streets. Teach them love, teach them accountability. And it starts with being accountable. It starts with loving yourself, loving the people around you, and being accountable. That's how we teach, man, off the rip, because they watched us. They watched us do the wrong thing. So they'll watch us doing the right thing too, if we get on it and stick to it. But not just punishment after they fail, but support and love for the stuff they do. And understand that, hell, we still making mistakes. So we can't act like we don't understand they're going to make mistakes too. But just like I said, we wanted the love and support, man. So we got to give it. We got to give it. But I'm going to tell you now, and we should already know this. If the streets raise our children, the streets will bury our children. They're going to bury our children in prison. They're going to bury our children in the graveyard. If we keep letting the streets raise our kids. Like I said, I'm not just talking about our biological kids, but because I had people that wasn't my mother. I had people that wasn't my father biologically that helped raise me and helped give me the game and helped look out for me. So it's not just about that, man. It's about us as men, giving it where we can, wherever we can. But we need to stop glorifying destruction. We have to stop celebrating violence and show these kids that that's not the way. We have to stop celebrating being reckless and teach them the consequences of being reckless, help them avoid those consequences. We got to stop being promiscuous as men sleeping around with everybody, as women sleeping around with everybody, because our kids see this, making babies everywhere, leaving our kids, like our kids see this, and tell me they're not following in the same footsteps. Tell me they not. You know, we got to stop glorifying the drug culture, because that's played out. We know what that's going to lead them to. So we got to stop glorifying that. We got to stop glorifying the criminality, the whole criminal mindset, because we know where it's going to get them. We can't keep pushing, slanging, even like they ain't selling number weed. They killing people, robbing people and killing people for weed. Well, yes. So we got to stop glorifying. We got to start lacing them up with the real consequences of what they doing, man. Toting these guns, busting these guns. Yeah, we bust our gun. We did our thing, but it was consequences that came with it. It was consequences. I done did over 10 years of my life behind busting that gun. So I lace my kids up. I lace my nephews up. I lace the youth up I come in contact with. Yeah, and think about it. Now it's even worse, because if we notice, they passing more laws to lock up more kids at a younger age. They're not even getting a chance to make a mistake. They getting threw away. First mistake. First bad decision. They getting threw away. They getting their whole life taken away from them, 50, 60 years on the first offense. And they passing laws to do that. So we got to get right, man. We got to show them what's up. I appreciate you, Miss Catherine. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. You have a good night. But, man, look, we have to start celebrating positivity. We have to start celebrating ownership. We have to start celebrating education. We have to start celebrating marriages. We have to start celebrating businesses, legit businesses, instead of hustling. We have to start celebrating discipline, being a disciplined person, being in control, being grown, man. We have to start celebrating integrity. We have to start celebrating leadership. As men, we got to start stepping up, being leaders, coming together. Let's get out here in the community, man, and really get at the youth, man, and try to help them. We have to rebuild a community, man. Like, think about it. It was a time when, like I said earlier, neighborhoods operated like families, man. People checked on each other. People protected each other, not just your mama, but everybody else mama protected you. That's what was so square business about the Ave, man. I didn't have one mother. I had many mothers. My homeboys' mothers was my mothers. I done slept at my homeboys' house. They done fed me. They done told me, hey, you're not supposed to be doing this. Just like I said, when we used to scrap back in the day, they didn't put out no phone and record it. They said, hey, y'all stop that. Y'all family, y'all ain't supposed to be doing that. And a lot of time made us hug, shake hands, and make up. And that's what these kids need, man. Elders corrected the kids. The community stood together. That's what made the hood so strong. You felt like love. You felt protected in the hood. You didn't want to be nowhere else but the hood. Now, I ain't going to even lie. I don't even like going in the hood because there's too much going on. It's too much hatred. It's too much envy. No, now people don't even know their neighbors. Stay right next to somebody the whole years and don't even know who your neighbors are. People so unconnected nowadays. People to watch somebody break in your house and say, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That ain't my business. I ain't no snitch. Like, that wasn't how it was, man. That was not how it was. But we need to get back to economic empowerment, man. Getting at some real money, man. Building something. I know as fathers right now, I know, man, we in that mind state to the people in my time in the world. What can I leave? What can I build now to leave my kids? Like I said, we need businesses. We need trades. We need to teach them some real, like we taught them how to hustle. We taught them how to chop work. We taught them how to bag work. We need to teach them, you know what I'm saying, some real trades. We need to teach them not just how to get money, but how to keep money, how to invest money and grow their money. We need to teach them ownership. We need to teach them entrepreneurship, how to, instead of going and get a job, how to create their own job. They need this, man. This is how they're going to get ahead. This is how we going to, you know what I'm saying, uplift the hood, man. We cannot heal economically while remaining dependent on systems that don't put us first. We know that. We know the system not designed to help us come up. We know the system not designed to help us win. But we have the knowledge. We have the resources. If we come together, we can create our own systems, man. We can create our own systems so we can win and we can build stuff that we can leave to our kids, man. Y'all see, man, everybody that got a business, everybody that's doing their thing in business, I salute y'all. When I see it in my timeline, I share it. If I don't share it and you don't know what I'm saying, see me share it, tag me in it, man, when you sharing your business. I'm going to do everything that I can to help you win. When you had it, I ain't have no problem telling nobody where to get it. So now that you're doing something legit, I have no problem, man. Know what I'm saying? Telling people to spend with you and helping you build what you got. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a win for me to see you win. I'm still the same person, man. I ain't changed. I'm just wise enough. I just got a different mindset. But we still in this together, man. All y'all, I appreciate all y'all tuning in tonight, man. I see y'all. But I want to challenge everybody watching tonight. I want to challenge everybody. Stop waiting for politicians to save the community. Stop waiting for celebrities to save the community. Stop waiting for somebody else to fix what we are dealing with. It ain't happening. It's on us. Healing starts with us. Ask yourself, man, am I contributing to the healing or am I contributing to the destruction? Be real with yourself. What example am I setting for my family, for my kids, for the people in my community? What am I teaching the next generation? Seriously, man. What behaviors am I normalizing? We got to think about all this. Am I building or am I tearing down? We got to keep it real. But hey, tonight's conversation wasn't meant to condemn our people. It was meant to wake us up, as always. Because despite everything, I 100% believe our communities can heal. I 100% believe our people can rise. I 100% believe change is possible. Or I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing this. But healing begins when accountability begins. Hey, man, this has been the P-Ave Perspective. I'm your host, Mr. O'Neal. If this conversation touched you in any kind of way tonight, share the live stream. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook. And invite somebody else, man, to tune in next week. Because hopefully, God willing, we're going to do this again. And always remember, man, we can't heal what we refuse to confront. We got to confront it, man. But God bless all y'all, man. Good night, man. Have a great one.